lost, lonely, or maybe even a little bit loony. I talk about all these things on my show and how to help them. Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Mental Melodies. I'm your host here, Carmynn Broadley. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope that you've had a lovely week. For me, time felt like it kind of slowed down. I feel like I haven't been here in a while. I don't know about you. I have been rebranding myself over the past few months. So I wanted to tell you that if you love my black lipstick, you should comment and say, I love your black lipstick. And if you don't love my black lipstick, then you should comment and you should tell me the last date that you saw your eye doctor. And then I will go through the comments and double check and see if I care about your opinion. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Mental Melodies. Today is going to be a fun one. I am bringing on a friend and someone that I greatly admire in the local film community. So we're going to be chatting a little bit about grief, but also about our stories and our visions, and specifically Danielle's story and Danielle's vision and her experience with grief and how it kind of led her to where she is today. She does a lot of work around town, and like I said, I just really admire her. So you're going to be looking forward to that. Last week I went on a little bit of a rant about my outfit, and so I want to do that today too. The whole black lipstick thing, it was a joke, but it's also been, like I said, just a part of me kind of rebranding myself. And so I've been talking a lot about my identity on this show, and I met up with somebody the other day and we were kind of talking about my image and about my identity and about how what we do kind of defines who we are. And I've been trying to shift that in a way, at least getting away from the identity that I used to have when I was teaching for 8 years. I felt like my whole identity was rooted in this job, and I think a lot of people get into this space where they get kind of stuck in something and this becomes who they are, and then they're that way. And they're following all these different guidelines and rules from society about how to live their life. And I'm in this kind of rebellion zone. And I think partially it's because maybe as a teenager, I was a little maybe too stuck in a box. There was too much structure. I was too much of a people pleaser. I really liked getting straight A's because I also really liked pleasing the teacher and following rules and all of these things. And so not only do I feel I don't think the black lipstick looks as crazy to me as other people, but people keep pointing it out. They're why that? What's up with that choice? And I'm just I don't know. It just very much vibes with me right now. And I don't, like I said, I just look in the mirror and I like it. I like that it makes my green eyes pop, but it's definitely a part of this kind of little bit of push toward rebellion that I'm going for. And so I've been embracing my identity as a very sweet, giving person, and I've talked about this a lot, but also embracing this part of me that is strong and likes to speak up about things. And so I guess I consider myself somewhat of a truth teller. And that's kind of where, I don't know, the beauty of this show lies, I think, is in storytelling, is in truth telling, is in giving space for other people to tell their stories. And so I'm really delighted today to have another person on here because I haven't done that in a while. I mentioned that I've just kind of been giving myself space to talk. And so I was just feeling this shift, I think it's time to bring people on again. And I was thinking, I guess today before the show, about how important it is for me not to just bring in experts on mental health. I think that my vision is more bringing in just people who can talk about what they've dealt with and how they've overcome it, because a big vision and mission of mine is to teach people how to heal themselves. There is so much power in being able to say that you have the autonomy over your choices of how you want to heal. It's just so important for me, and that's something that I'm, I guess, going through right now. I mentioned last week that I like to use this first segment as kind of an update on where I am, and even just how this show is affecting my mental health and my healing. And today I'm feeling I'm in a pretty good space, and a lot of that is because I've been really dedicating myself to kind of a lot of the things that I I said I was going to do in 2024. And there's this idea of follow through that I said I had planted the seed for back in 2020. Like, I want to be someone who does what she says she's going to do. So even on days when I don't feel like it, I get up, I come here, and something beautiful always unfolds. And it's just such a lovely thing. And so I'm excited to share this space with somebody else and be able to hear their story. There's more opportunity for this, like, as time goes on. So if you are feeling like you want to come on and share your story, either your struggles with mental health, or if you know somebody who struggled with it, I've mentioned a lot of times before how, like, my brother's mental health journey was very much a precursor to my own mental health journey. So even if you're like the brother or sister of somebody, that experience and that understanding and that knowledge is so valuable and will help other people figure out how to heal themselves. So what I was talking about with, like, the ownership over mental health, I just feel that is really, really important. And so I just want to hear about Danielle's experience with that and how she has been able to heal from things. I think she's one of the most powerful, strong, like, go-getting women that I have ever met. She is an award-winning filmmaker. She directs, she edits, color corrects, models, and acts. So you can also work with her, and I'm sure you've probably seen her around town if you're kind of following, like, what the filmmakers are doing in Las Vegas. She's got a bachelor's degree in communications and media technology, and she really cares about paving the way for future female filmmakers. So we're in our Barbie era, and I love that for us. I think we've had on social media shows some female candidates for office, and I'm loving that too. So there's a whole vibe. Maria's doing honeybees. There's a lot of female empowerment coming out. So yes, Danielle is here at the perfect time. And so we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we will meet her.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. If you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
Hi everyone, welcome back. This is our second segment of Mental Melodies, and I'm beaming because somebody likes my black lipstick, so thank you very much. And here we have Danielle as promised, so I'm going to give her the floor to introduce herself and just kind of expand on a few of the things that I've already said about her. So Danielle, tell us who you are.
All right. Hi, my name is Danielle Patton. I go by Danny. Like Carmynn said, I'm very into the film community in Vegas, and I'm trying to expand into LA and hopefully Arizona. Fingers crossed. We'll see how that goes. And I do have a bachelor's degree in communications and media technologies. And my main focus for this year is to act more. I've already been in 5 featured films, music videos, and commercials for this year. So 5 more until I reach my goal of 10. And yeah, I love film. I love communicating, talking to others, and especially people like Carmynn. So
Yes, I am just, again, just like beaming with pride because I feel like I'm inspired by Danny every single time I talk to her. I'm like making a mental checklist to set goals for myself like that. I do have goals where like I want to finish my reel by the end of the year and other things that that we have to do as actors. But something I've been writing about recently is like resilience and getting through. And I think that's a huge part of being an actress and having these goals and having setbacks. So how do you overcome that?
that's a hard question, actually. I like to set goals myself too, kind of like you said, and I just keep going. I probably auditioned last year for about, I don't know, 60 different things, and I only got maybe 12. Wow. But it was also my first year of acting, so I was like, you just gotta do better and be better, and every time you do an audition or a self-tape, you get better. Mm-hmm. And you gain more confidence, and you have to remember that it doesn't matter what other people think about you, it matters what you think about yourself. Because a lot of people are so focused on what other people think about them, and it gets into their brain, and they're like, oh, I'm not good at this and this and that, when they're actually excellent at it. Mm-hmm. And it just really messes up somebody,
Yeah. Yeah, so like the mindset is key.
Oh, absolutely.
In being able to push forward. So like how did you learn that lesson and how do you keep that going and what do you do when you hit a moment where maybe you are worried about it? How do you find yourself like retraining yourself to focus on how you feel in your own confidence?
Well, for an example of that, I had an audition about 3-4 days ago, and I was preparing myself. I got a monologue, I rewrote it, and I was like, I'm going to do this. And then when I got inside, it was just like I froze up, even though I did dozens of auditions. And then I just kind of thought in like the back of my head, like, this is what I think about a lot, is like, what would Jake do? Like, Jake was like my best friend, and we'll talk about that later, but he was probably my number one supporter. So that just kind of like pushed me, and I was like, all right, I can do this. And they liked it. They talked to me for an extra 5 to 10 minutes afterwards, and it felt good. You just have to always remind yourself that you're better than what you perceive yourself as.
Yeah. And
it's okay to be nervous, and it's okay to make mistakes, because we learn from that.
Yeah, 100%. Space for the negative. I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, space for sadness and grief too. And so you said we'll talk about it later, but since you brought it up, people
I guess we'll talk about it now.
It's Jake. And so tell us who
Yes.
Jake is. Tell us that story. Tell us how it impacted you. If you need a break, let me know.
Okay. Okay, so my whole grief thing is really about my best friend Jake. He passed away in 2020. And he was in the Marines, and it was a very, very messed up and sad accident. In the barracks, they were playing like Russian roulette, and yeah, they just weren't being smart about it, and it really sucked. Like, it really messed me up. I would cry every single day, and it sucked. And I lost like 25 pounds because I wouldn't eat, and I kept texting him because I was like, oh, he really can't be gone, But then I was like, he's not going to talk because he's gone. So that was really rough. But I feel like that helped me in a way, because he was such a big supporter of me that like I still feel that to this day. And if I feel like I can't do something, I think back to him, and I actually look back at our text messages, and I saved a lot of it because he's my best friend and I loved him. And I still love him, but it's a nice reminder to know that you have people in your corner, even if they aren't physically on Earth anymore,
Yeah, 100%. I feel that way about my grandma.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about our episode, I caught a flash of my very first tattoo, which I actually got here in Vegas, but it was before I moved here. So it was like, I don't know, I was like 20 or 21 or something like that. But my grandma was like the first person that I lost that it really took a toll on me. And I've just been thinking about how we make space for grief, and I think your story is a testament to the fact that I think when you lose somebody, that becomes a part of your life for the rest of forever.
Oh, absolutely.
And so can you talk me through, you were talking about some of those stages in the very beginning, and then maybe how the healing process spread out over time?
So when I found out, like, it was, like, I literally woke up from a nap because I came home from work, and Jake and I, we have mutual friends. And one of them, he was actually deployed across the sea. He was in some other country. And he's like, hey, Danny, like, I really need to tell you something. And I was like, okay, what is it? And he's like, Jake's gone. And I was like, what do you mean he's gone? He's like, he passed away. And I was like, no, he didn't. He's like, yes, he did. Mm-hmm. And like, that just like struck something in me. And then like, I just collapsed like on the floor, and it's just ugly crying. And it was rough.
Yeah.
And yeah, I cried every single day for like a month. Mm-hmm. And like, I usually don't cry, and like, I don't really like to show my emotions, but I've been working on that because that's something super important to do.
Yeah.
So that, mm-hmm. Baby steps. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing, is the initial reaction to knowing what actually happened. Mm. And someone actually telling me that like in words, and I was just like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then the other big one was when I was driving to Arizona for his funeral with my sister. And that was another rough one because his mom asked me to write something for him. And I did. And I got halfway through like reading it, and then I just cried again. Mm-hmm. But it was nice to say some words for him. So
yeah. You said you collapsed, and I find that so interesting because I reacted the same way when my grandma died and when my brother died.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's like, whatever, is that like our body's reaction to that? It's so interesting.
I don't know, because like I can still like feel it, because I was just, I went from my room to the kitchen, and like I was like heaving, you know, like almost close to like a anxiety attack.
Yeah. Because
I felt it like deep in my chest, and I was like, Mom, and then she's like, what? And then I just smacked onto the hardwood floor. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I felt like a rag doll almost, because like all of that tension and like, what's the good word for it? All that tension and all of that negative emotion just is like seeping into you now, because it's like you never want to hear those words about anybody, especially someone you're very close with and you love. And I think that's part of it, because like your body just can't take it, because like my heart couldn't take it, because my heart was like breaking, and then I felt like my heart just made my body like collapse, you know.
It's like your body saying, okay, you're going to have to get through this really hard thing, so let's not be standing for it.
Yeah. just lay on the ground.
Get down there, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking somebody's going to make a meme out of my face and say, I hope somebody looks at me the way you look at Danielle. Because earlier I was just like, I love her.
You're like, talk more.
Just please keep talking.
I'm very flattered, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Yeah. Oh man, that's heavy.
It is, and like I think about him every day, and I actually messaged his mom on Facebook a couple days ago, and I was just like, hey, like I've been thinking about Jake a lot, and I just want to say like thank you for raising him to be like the best person I've ever got to meet. And I was like, your son was like one of a kind. Like he wasn't like normal Marines, I guess, because everyone has a pitch of Marines, you know, like crayon eaters and blah blah blah. And no, he was one of the smartest people I've ever met, and he was the sweetest person. Like he would call me sugar and sweetheart and all this other stuff, and like it was nice. And yeah, it was like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna text her, because I feel like I haven't talked to her in a while. And it was nice, because she always sends me voice memos and stuff, and she's like, if you're ever in like New York or, you know, Arizona, you can stay with us for a few days and we can like talk. And I was like, okay. So that was nice too. It's nice to still have a connection to him, even though he's not here anymore, you know?
Yeah, 100%. So this was like a total shock, not like he hadn't been struggling and it just came out of the blue. Can you talk about the effect of like that being the aspect of this experience?
Yeah, because I was in California for a promotion thing at a convention for a series I was working on. And I noticed, I guess, red flags to me because we would always talk. Like, we'd always send good morning messages and good night. And, like, even if we were busy, we'd update each other. And I didn't hear from him for 2 days. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Like, maybe he's in the field, but he would have told me. And then it just, there was, like, a gnawing feeling in my stomach. And, like, I had that feeling through my whole trip, which was like 4 or 5 days. And I was like, I do not like this feeling. Something is happening that I don't like, that I'm not gonna like.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was happy. He's a very open book. Like, he's probably more open than you are with your feelings. And that's saying a lot. I'm saying a lot because
They're like, are you sure?
Absolutely. Yeah, he was a very open book, and he would talk about anything and everything, and he would know if, like, I was off or something was bothering me, and I would kind of pick up on it with him too. But yeah, there wasn't any, like, red flags or anything about him wanting to do that.
That's wild. Yeah, that's wild. Did you know what his future plans were? And so, like, what? Because I feel like that's a lot of the loss when somebody dies suddenly or young. But there's, like, this whole life ahead. Like, what was it that you knew that he was supposed to do?
Well, he wanted to stay in the Marines more. He was gonna get deployed another time or two, and then he wanted to go back to college, and he was gonna work a security job and stuff to pay for that and to help out. And he just wanted to help people. That's really what he wanted to do, was to help people. So he went to, I believe it was criminal justice that he wanted to be in.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's like, I want to thank you because you inspired me to go back to college and figure out what I actually wanted to do. Because he's like, your drive and dedication, like, made me want to do more than just be who I am. So that was nice to hear. And I felt like we really built each other up a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking now about, like, your plans, and in your bio you talked about training for the Air Force and the fact that you want to continue to work on communications and helping people. Was that directly related to him in any way?
No, I've always wanted to go into communications because I've always been a people person. Because when I was back in Girl Scouts, we had to talk to people. We had to talk into big crowds and do community stuff, and that kind of got me into communications. But I think the Air Force, I've always wanted to do that, and I think I've always been scared to actually take the initial steps into doing it. Because, like, part of me, like, I want to do it to make my dad proud, but, like, another part, I want to do it for me. Because I don't feel like where I am right now is where I should be, you know? I feel like I have a lot more potential, and I'm not reaching that said potential yet. It's like I'm kind of in a rut. Yeah.
Is that a perception of yourself that you could challenge? Like, because I see that in some senses. There's, like, this vision I have of who I want to be and where I want to get to and all these different goals. And I have a hard time accepting that, like, I'm here now and I need to take these small steps to get there. But I think part of being able to see if your potential is a giant tree, you have to continue planting those seeds. Like, if you take a second to think about all the seeds that you plant, do you feel like you are watering that potential?
I feel like I am, because I got out of my comfort zone by acting, which is a really big thing, because I hated being in front of the camera. And I'm taking steps with the Air Force by finally going to the gym more and running and doing all these things that I don't want to do, but I have to do. Like, I have to do it in order to go in. And it's kind of like I don't know how to explain it. It's a good feeling, but it's also like, am I really doing this? Like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. When you say, is this really happening, you're talking about acting?
Just life in general, honestly.
Yeah.
Because the acting part is, like, I'm so used to that now in my life that when someone's like, what are you doing? Or like, where are you going? Blah, blah, blah. Or what have you done? I just kind of say like the projects I've done, or like, oh yeah, I'm going on set. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. But to me, it's like, yeah, it is cool, but it's normal now, which
Yes.
is nice. It's
Yes.
normal, and you don't have to be nervous. You can just have fun with it.
Yeah.
But the nervous part for me is definitely the Air Force. It's completely different. That's a whole other world.
Yeah.
But it's something I want to do. Go back to college, get into psychology. I want to travel.
So many things.
So many things. It's endless, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited.
Yeah, we're excited for you. And we are going to take a little bit of a break, and then Danielle will tell us more about her story afterwards.
Are you looking to record or film your podcast? We have the sound room and all necessary equipment you need. Contact us for pricing and to schedule your tour.
I was always smarter than the other kids. I matured at an early age. I was always a daydreamer, but I surprised my foster parent all the time.
You have come a long way, Cal. I'm proud of you.
As I learned by myself with no homeschool or public school, I was always alone as far back as I can remember. I'm an orphan and never met my real parents, and I never wanted to. Books soon became my new friends. They never talked back, and I could always rely on them to be there for me. Other kids my age made fun of me. They called me a freak because I knew more than them. I learned to keep my mouth shut. My foster parent didn't really pay attention to me while I grew up. He always thought I was weird.
I wouldn't be in this mess if it wasn't for you. You told me to drown my dad. What the fuck is wrong with you? How twisted are you?
You just murdered your father. They'll start looking for him. They'll eventually see the boat rocking alone in the lake.
Hey, do you need any carports or anything? What the hell are you doing on my property?
No, sorry, I was just leaving.
Then get the hell off my property. I don't need you and you little shits fucking up my property. Hey, do I know you?
No, I don't think so.
Aren't you Crop's son?
Yeah,
How's he doing?
he's okay.
Is he still drinking?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Mental Melodies. I'm your host, Carmynn Bradley, and we are here with Danny Patton also. Thank you for being here with us today, and thank you for sharing your story. I wanted to tell Russell that, yes, I do wear it every day. Unfortunately, black lipstick was banned from work because I wore it, and leather pants were also banned. But I wear black lipstick other than when I'm at work because people are trying to dampen my spirits. But I didn't go through a goth phase in like high school or junior high, so I guess I'm like kind of in that
Doing it now.
Yeah. Did you ever have a goth phase?
I did not. I know my sister did, but I did not. Like, I liked like some of like the certain, like emo music and stuff, but no, I dressed like a tomboy for the most part.
Yeah, you do kind of dress like a tomboy, but today you're very sweet. We both have, I think, very like sweet demeanors, but we're also like athletic, and we have a lot of similarities in that aspect. Except that, yeah, I'm embracing my goth. Maybe you'll get there one day.
Maybe when I'm 40 or something.
Yeah. I took I've taken acting classes at Dream Tracks, which is where Danny and I connected. And one of the acting coaches did that thing where he told me who I was and put me in that box. Like, you're a sweet person, so you're going to be in sweet people roles. And that really got to me. And so I'm, again, like fighting against that.
That's rough. That's really hard to get out of when they put you in a box.
Yeah.
Because they tried to do that to me, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, if you really believe that you can literally play anything.
Yeah.
You can be any type of character, any type of persona, whatever you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the whole part of acting.
Yes.
Is to be someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would you want to play someone always sweet and innocent when you play a crazy person?
Yeah.
When you're not that in real life. Yeah. Or at least I hope not,
Yeah. And I think every acting opportunity is an opportunity to heal. I've been kind of learning that lately.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if you're on set as an extra or something, it's so good to be there, because I feel like it's like mending like things that other people broke, like it's the own self-healing, like you're healing yourself by doing something that you love.
Yeah. How did you get in, like, I know maybe IMTA was a part of challenging yourself with acting, but like, can you take me back to when you first knew like you were getting into communications, like film in general? Where does that like passion come from?
Wow. Okay. That started back in high school when I lived in Southern Illinois. We had a class that was it's called typography, but it was also an intro to film class. And my passion started when we did a little short film with Peeps. It was a stop motion one, which I don't recommend doing if you don't have patience like I do, because it's really hard to do. But that's how it started, with my little cheap Peep story that we did like around the school, which took a very long time, but it was fun. And then after that, I just got into it, and I wanted to get out of Illinois to go to a bigger place that had more opportunities for film, because I was like, I want to do film. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be a nurse or anything else like that. Like, kudos to all them, but I want something creative.
Yes.
That I can like express myself without people putting in their 2 cents. Like, they're always going to put in their 2 cents, but it's not going to affect me, And that's how I got into AI, but then it closed down in 2019 because of fraud and all that. Yeah.
AI, like artificial intelligence, or is
No,
that a business?
It's Art Institute.
Oh,
It's
okay.
It was the Art Institute of Las Vegas.
Oh.
So I got a lot of scholarships to go there, and I was like, why not? And I moved across the country for it.
Oh, that's what brought you here.
Yes.
Yes. And then it closed down?
Yeah. Yeah, very, very bad. And I was about a year ahead, because I was taking summer classes. I was taking 7 or 8 classes at a time and working, and like I was into it. I loved it. But it just, the curriculum just went down the drain. The people, the teachers didn't care, the students didn't show up, and I was like, I'm not paying thousands of dollars for this.
Yeah.
So I got transferred to the Academy of Art University in San Francisco, and that's where I switched from filmmaking and video production to communications and media technologies, which is a fancier word for filmmaking. But it goes more into the pre-aspects of film and the communications with others, which is what I want to do now.
Nice. So your family followed you?
My mom did. She's like, you're not moving to Vegas by yourself. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. I don't blame her. Yeah. And then my sister moved from Colorado. So we're here, but we're planning on moving hopefully soon, depending.
Out of Vegas?
Yeah.
Back on the East Coast?
To me, it just depends where the Air Force takes me.
Where the Air Force takes you. Gotcha.
I like how that sounds.
Yes. and where the wind takes you.
Yes.
Yeah, I like living life that way, trying to have a plan, but then also being open to, where life's going to take you.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
good to have a plan. Like, I have a plan, like, this is my last year of acting. If nothing comes out of it, then it is what it is. And I have a great resume. I worked with some great people, like celebrities, non-celebrities, friends that I've made. Like, I've made a handful of friends, you included. So it's really nice. Granted, there was a lot of ups and downs that we went through, like personally through,
Yeah, yeah.
when we went on that trip, but I think it was all worth it.
Yeah, I think so too. So I'm curious, like, where does the deadline come in with, like, acting is for me until this point, and then I'm going to switch gears?
That actually comes in a few months, actually, because I'm going to talk to a recruiter and see the time frame, because I know it always takes longer to go through it, and they've been giving me issues about going in as an officer, which really sucks, because they're like, oh, go enlisted. I was like, I have a bachelor's degree. I don't want to go in as enlisted.
Yeah.
I get higher pay. I get a better job as an officer. So I was like, I'm not going to do enlisted. That is not for me. I'm not an enlisted girly. I try to, like, envision it, and I was like, I just can't. If I can't envision it, I just can't force myself to do it.
I like that. I am all for following visions. I think that, like, we all are given it if we pay attention.
Oh, absolutely.
Like a picture of where our life can go and where our potential lies. And so I think following that is key, 100%. And then, like, tying in what you were saying about what other people think. Like, other people can't necessarily see your vision, except sometimes Maria. She sees things in my head about me that I'm like, okay, I'm meant to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those people are special.
Yes.
I did want to touch on, you said your mom lived here, your sister's here. In your bio, you talked about, like, how you can do anything you want to. This, like, idea of achieving the impossible, you know, and I agree. Like, I think that dreams can become plans as long as you put steps into action. But you did mention, like, having a support system.
Oh, absolutely.
And how important that is. Talk me through that. Like, who supports you? How has that grown and developed? Like, where do you see that continuing? That kind of thing.
I mean, my biggest support system, it's gonna be cliche, but it's my family. It's really mostly my sister and my mom, because without them, I wouldn't have gone to IMTA, I wouldn't have done acting classes, I wouldn't have worked with all these people I never thought I got to actually meet. And it's just, they always give me the confidence that I've lacked, because I feel like going through, like, my childhood and stuff, like, I was never super confident because I didn't like how I looked, and I didn't like that I felt different than, like, everyone else. But now, like, I'm embracing that, and I realize it's okay to be, like, tomboyish, and it's okay to like other things that other people don't like, and it's okay to be different. So my mom and sister have really been, like, my biggest support system, and, like, I love them to the moon and back, and I feel like when I reach my goals, I can actually finally take care of them. Like, that's my main thing, is to take care of them, because they've taken care of me literally my whole life. And, like, my sister is, like, my second mom, basically. And, like, I still talk to my dad, but, you know, it's just not as good as a connection as my mom and sister, because they understand what I want, and they always support me no matter what, regardless of money, regardless of time. Like, they'll put down what they're doing to help me.
Yeah. That's so important to have people that believe in you.
It is. And if you don't have that, then it's really hard to achieve your goals. And then you're going to, like, second guess yourself. And then you're just like, oh, should I actually do this? But when you have people in your corner, you're like, I can do anything. Like, and it's really nice. It's such a, like, warming feeling to have.
I have this interesting thing that happens to me recently, where anytime I'm going through kind of a deep trough of doubt, it's like, usually it's kind of manageable, it's just like thoughts, but every once in a while it's a couple weeks or even like a month, especially after my dog died. I was just in this like I'll get up one day, I promise. I kept doing things, but it's just like that feeling. But I noticed that I'm starting to feel alone, and I'm starting to doubt things, and then I start to get messages from people who are, like, thinking of me or checking in on me, and that a big a big thing for me was like I had to build that community. I had to create that because a lot of my family is not really around me. But I just like we were saying with the vision, I think if you're really on the right path and you're following that, like people will be around you, people will show up, people will lift your spirits, and that's just such a beautiful, lovely thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I feel like some people have deeper connections with each other, like some of the times that you've texted me, like I really needed to talk to someone, and I'm like, oh, Carmynn. And like whenever I imagine you or talk to you, you're always like a little ball of sunshine. Is how like I like to describe it to people. Like you and Jeremy are like two of the most positive people I've ever met, and you guys always like look after others, even if they don't look after you. And I feel like that's such a quality trait to have that people lack so much of, especially in Vegas, because it's all about like their mindset of like, oh, it's about me, 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 me. And then like, no, it's about everyone. Mm-hmm. Like kind of similar, like I'm going to rope it back into acting. Like we're on dozens of the Facebook sites and like pages.
Yeah.
And if I see something that I don't match that matches you or someone else I know, I'll send it to them. But people like gatekeep that stuff, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't be a 6'5", 300-pound man when you're like 5'11". Like you just can't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Narcissism is huge in our field, in our career, and whatever we see it as. I don't know. I feel like I don't really see a career. So it's a career, but it's a lifestyle for me.
It's honestly a lifestyle. Yeah.
Creativity like is who I am now, and everything kind of relates to it, which it's really cool. But yeah, narcissism does run deep, and I think in a way that maybe I have a theory that stems from doubt, that it stems from this idea that you have to do it all on your own. Like I think a lot of people who do choose paths that are difficult like this have been through difficult things, and so they try to trudge through on their own. But it's like, what's the point of art if not for everybody? Like, you know, once you start to shed that idea that like, you know, that you should be the lead in everything or whatever. Yeah. Like I'm the hero of my own story, but I exist in a world with so many other beautiful heroes who, you know, like everybody should kind of trade having the limelight and supporting other people and like
absolutely
doing their part.
1000%.
Yeah. Cool. Break time. Let's take a break.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. See you back in a couple minutes.
Now on digital and DVD.
Hit it.
Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star is an epic sci-fi adventure.
Do what needs to be done.
An edge-of-your-seat wild ride.
We have company.
Tons of popcorn-munching fun. 5 stars. A love letter to the sci-fi films of the 70s and 80s. With plenty of action and fun for all. You need to see it. You really do.
The captain just decided it's time to go.
I am ready for a sequel. Experience a bold new adventure. Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star.
A good old-fashioned adventure.
Now on digital and DVD.
Welcome to social media shows. Have you been watching social media shows recently? Of course you have. We have been live streaming for 4 years across social media platforms. We produce over 70 shows with over 1,000 episodes. In the process, we've helped over 100 creators realize their dreams and start their own show. We give platforms to promote your business. If you are an artist, if you have an event, if you are entrepreneurs, or if you have a story. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and follow us on major social media platforms. And if you have a great idea of a show, join us. Social media shows can help you produce and live stream your own show. Let us help you make your dream become a reality.
Hi everyone, welcome back. This is our last segment of today's episode of Mental Melodies. I'm your host Carmynn Bradley, and I am here with
Danielle Patton.
Thank you again for being here. Thank you all for listening. Let's just continue chatting about your journey as an actress and as a human. Do you want to share any more about Jake's story to kind of tie a little bow on that, and like how maybe you mentioned that it kind of keeps you going? So tell me why you've been thinking about him lately and how that's been keeping you going.
Well, I've been thinking about him a lot more lately because we made this little pact that when we were 25 and if we were both like single or struggling or whatever, then we just get married. Just get married, tie a knot, be done. And like I was planning on moving to Arizona because I had some better opportunities there, but then after he passed away, I was like, I don't want to go to Arizona because that's where he's buried at. So I feel like I still distance myself a little bit from it because I don't talk about him that much, but I think about him all the time.
Yeah.
And one thing that's really helped me that some people might find weird, I don't know if other people do this or even if you do this, when he first passed away, I would actually like just be in my car driving and I would just talk to him. I'd be like, hi Jake, how are you? And blah, blah, blah. Like, this is what's going on. And like at the end, I'd be like, I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Just like he was there because I know like he's looking down on me. So that I did that for a very long time.
Yeah. I did do that a couple times with my dog. This is the necklace that's supposed to contain some of his ashes, but I haven't put them in yet. But this is the first day that I've worn it, actually.
It's gorgeous.
And yeah, thank you. I've been kind of toying with this idea. So I mentioned earlier about how, I think our grief gets spread out over time, but I think that it's always a part of us. There's some kind of meme I've seen about this, like in the healing community, about how we just essentially make space for our grief. It's like the person that was there and that kind of like energy and connection in our bodies becomes grief, and it becomes like a part of sadness, and it's all like mixed in together. But I think that while we have this moment, like you mentioned, the moment when you fell, and then the first month when you were crying every day, we have these periods of time where we are forced to be like, grieving is our state at that time.
Yeah.
But then I guess I'm just toying with this idea that it's so important to not forget the people that we lose, especially when it's stories like these where it's like you like learn a lesson about how important it is to be careful, or how important it is to like value how your actions affect other people. I'm rambling, and you had asked me if I talked to so I talked to my dog because that's more recent, but my brother is the one who's like kind of not my Jake, because it's not the same relationship, but in a way, like the person that I lost that changed my life, that now I'm like, I feel like I was putting him in a box for a little while. I was kind of like saying, I think I was misunderstanding the stages of grief. Like I got to acceptance and I was done. Yeah. That's not how it works. And then we rotate through it for the rest of our life.
It's a cycle, honestly. People don't understand that. They're like, oh, it's just these stages and then I'm done. And like, I can go back to normal. But I'm like, when you lose someone, you don't go back to normal. Because that person was part of your normal schedule or everyday life or week or how, it depends how connected you were. But obviously your brother.
Yeah.
You would talk to him all the time. Yeah. And Jake, I would talk to him every single day. Yeah. And it's kind of crazy to think, like, it's been years since he's been gone, but it doesn't feel like it. Because I can, like, vividly remember, like, the day that I was told that, and going to his funeral, and, like, his 1-year anniversary, and, like, all this other stuff. Like, it seems like that was just, like, yesterday. Yeah. And it's kind of weird, like, how grief makes you not really understand time sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but do you know what I'm saying?
I think I know what you're saying, because I'm thinking about core memories. Yes. And how, like, our perception of time and who we are as a person is shaped by these memories. And so these sound like core memories to you. Like, they will always be strong because they're, I always not quote Inside Out, but reference it on the show. You know, that the scene in the movie where everything, like, tumbles and falls. Yes. And that's like what's happening, I feel like, is our psyches are building up these memories and these connections with people, and they become either bigger or smaller, depending on if they're there. So now it's like you have this island of grief that's like the Jake Island.
Yeah.
You know, that's filled with
Honestly,
like
yeah.
these really sad memories as well as those good ones. But yeah, I'm becoming a sad bear now.
Don't be a sad bear.
I'm raining on the sunshine.
No, it's good to talk about it though, because people are so scared to talk about their emotions and feelings. I was like that for a very long time. I didn't talk to anyone about Jake, and it was eating me alive. Like, I was so closed off. I didn't talk to anybody, and like the person at the time that I was seeing, he's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "You just won't get it." Like, you always think people won't understand what you're going through, but I have to say, like, 99% of people have gone through what you've gone through, at least in some type of way. Not exactly the same, probably impact or whatever, but they've lost people. They've dealt with grief and depression and all this other stuff. But, like, in the moment, you're like, you don't understand what I'm going through. Like, I'm the only person who's going through this, but you're not. And you very much close yourself off from other people and their help because you don't want their help. You want to be sad. You want to be depressed for a little bit because it's part of life. And that's what people are gonna probably disagree with. Like, oh no, I don't ever want to be sad and stuff, but you have to be. You gotta be sad. You gotta be angry. You gotta be depressed sometimes because we're humans. You can't be happy all the time. And if we did, that would be an issue, honestly.
I agree. I do agree. Because I know that people look, I don't know why exactly, but people use the word sunshine about me all the time. But like one of my main like messages about life is that like it's important to feel sad when you need to feel sad, and angry when you need to feel angry, and all these things. And I honestly think that that's part of the reason why people see the sunshine so much in me, is because I make so much space for all the rest of it. Is that maybe my sunshine's a little brighter.
It is.
Because my rain's a little stronger.
And that's okay, because people don't want to have those type of emotions. They just want one emotion. They don't want the probably dozens that we actually do portray throughout our lifetime. They're just like, I want my life to be X, Y, and Z. But that's not reality. Like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to yell. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not want to get out of bed and not get out of bed for a day or two. But it's always important to pick yourself back up. And do what you want to do, and just be a better you for the person that you lost, is kind of like how I think about it. Because they have seen you in a different light, and they know what you can do. And they probably even know what you can do even more now, since they're not even here. And that's kind of how like I think of it, and that's why I push myself a lot more than I should, I feel like, and I'm so hard on myself. Because I'm like, if I'm not good at this, then I need to be the best at it. Like, you know, like that, to reach what you actually want to do. Maybe not the best mindset, but it's better than others. So we're getting there. It's all a learning process. And it's really hard. It's a really hard learning process. People think it's easy. It's really not. Especially getting out of grief. That was probably one of the toughest things I've ever done. But it's kind of weird. It's like one day you're like, I'm okay. It goes from like you're like this, and then you go all the way down, like straight down into the ground, and then you're like crawling your way back up almost. And then one day you're like, I don't feel sad anymore, and you're like, I should, but I don't. Like, is that okay? And it is okay. At the time you don't think it's okay, and you should be sad all the time, and you shouldn't be happy or hanging out with friends or laughing and blah blah blah, but it's okay, and they'll want you to be happy. That's definitely a big thing I got from Jake's death. Is it's okay to be happy. And his mom actually helped me a lot with that too. She, like, you remind me of her actually, and vice versa. You're just like a little bit younger version of her, and she's very insightful, and so are you. And it was just so nice to hear those like reassuring words from her, and like And then she called me like sweetheart like he did, and then I was just like, oh no, and then I just cried.
Yeah.
And she's like, did I say something wrong? I was like, no.
The right thing, actually.
Yeah, it was like, you said the right thing that I needed to hear.
Yeah.
And just my body and my mind's like, you're gonna cry. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna cry. Like,
Yeah.
that's another thing. It's okay to cry. It's definitely okay. I've actually cried quite a bit, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I used to think, oh no, I don't need to cry and blah blah blah, but it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I think we need to. I mean,
Absolutely.
I think our bodies have to, otherwise they're storing the emotions. Like that's literally.
And it's gonna
body
explode.
functions.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gonna be like a horrible breakdown.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. I do not recommend that. Like,
We have to give ourselves so much grace though, because there's like, I always talk about the limitations that like life puts on us. Like if we're supposed to be grieving or we're supposed to be crying, but we have to go to work kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's like we almost do have to put things in a box. Like maybe for the last few years, for whatever reason, I did need to put my brother or my grief in a box. Because now I'm ready to take it out and kind of examine that pain and like, use it as motivation again, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why we have sad songs and sad movies. Like I'm thinking
absolutely.
about why we're drawn to art, because I think a lot of the world outside of, people who like decide to live a little more freely, I think is like pushed into a box, the happy like Instagram box. So when you make a choice to live life differently from that and to make space for everything, I think that's why, at least for me, why I'm drawn to art and making that more a part of my life, so that I can really, it validates like those feelings, and like the existence of the whole human spectrum,
Definitely.
Yeah. Yep. So let's see, can you tell the viewers like how to find you and where they're going to see you around town and that kind of thing?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Danielle_M_Patton_. And I also have an Instagram for my small production company called Dwarf Star Films on Instagram. We have a link tree on there that has our YouTube and everything else on it. And you can also find me on my third Instagram that I just made a couple days ago, which It's called Patton_Powerhouse. It's where I'm going to be posting my gym training and getting ready for the Air Force and the reality of it and how hard it's actually going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can add me on Facebook at Danielle Patton. And yeah, I don't want to give out my email, so.
Oh yeah, but your social security number would be great.
Oh yeah.
Right at this time.
It's just,
Kidding.
I mean, if you want it, no.
So yes, Danielle_M_Patton_,
Yes.
or Patton Powerhouse.
Yep, Patton_Powerhouse.
Patton_Powerhouse or Dwarf Star Films. So yeah, if you're looking for like reels for your acting portfolio or something, she would be a great resource.
Hit me up for that, color correction, whatever.
Yeah, editing, all of that. And let's see, I guess I have some news. We're going to be rebranding the show soon. It's going to be turning from Mental Melodies into the Carmynn Bradley show, so just look out for more rebranding, more black lipstick, more leather pants, more bravery, more guests, more honesty, more emotions, more jokes. I want to lighten up the place a little bit. And so thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening, and we will see you all next time. Have you felt lost, lonely, or maybe even a little bit loony? I talk about these things on my show and how to help them. Mental Melodies, broadcasting live every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. and every Saturday at 11.